We got to do this show before we
fall asleep.
Yeah.
So how many of these shows are we going over? Just Retro, Raw, Nitro?
Yep.
All right.
What else is there? I know there's a lot.
Well, there's a lot. Okay.
What else did you see?
I watched TakeOver. It ruled. There's one match in particular that I want to talk about. I sent you a text that said, I am one match into TakeOver, and I've already seen my favorite match of all of 2016. And you said, just wait. And you were right, because 2 matches later, I saw something better. But I don't think American Alpha versus the Revival is getting nearly enough love. That match was awesome. That was a tremendous tag team match. That's what tag team wrestling is supposed to be. And I want to talk about why the Revival is such a great heel team. The Revival are a great heel team because they would rather be booed for doing something badly than get cheered for doing something cool. When they get the heat on American Alpha, and all they're doing is stomping and choking and knees, and it's all very, very basic stuff, and they're working hard enough to keep the crowd interested, but not enough to get any kind of cheers at all. And they do a tease of a tag, and Jordan takes the ref, and Alpha goes for a double team, and they fuck it up. And everyone knows they fucked up, and there's a chance of you fucked up and botchamania. And in most matches...
Botchamania.
There's a chance of botchamania. Most matches that would drag things down to a halt and be impossible to recover from, Dash and Dawson just smiled and nodded. They almost cheerled. They're so happy to have the crowd acknowledging that they sucked. And then later, there was a planned spot. It was during the comeback. Jordan is running wild, suplexing everything that's on earth. I'm just giddy with glee. And he goes for a superplex, but they trip him and he falls down. So now I believe it's Dash, the bald one. He's on the top rope.
That's Dawson.
Dawson, damn it. Dawson is on the top rope. Jordan has just fallen down. In every other tag match I've seen in like the last 10 years, the guy on the top rope would then have pounced with an elbow smash or a frog splash or a headbutt or something. Dawson jumped down to the mat, landed on his feet, and attempted a cover with his pin on the ropes. My heart melted. I was in wrestling heaven. These men are dirty fucking heels. They are not there to entertain you. They are there to beat your goddamn heroes. And they do everything they can to try that. And it failed. And then American Alpha, of course, we all know how awesome they are at this point. And they went on to be great and win. And it was stupendous.
How was the Nakamura match?
It was really, really awesome. It was... I believe my rating at the time, I believe I get 4 3/4 and reserve the right to go back and change it later. It was certainly it was an easy crowd, which helped, but it sure was great. It sure was great. It built throughout. It was not the same match by the end that it was in the beginning. It was it was not even really slow at the beginning. It was just different. But there was a point in there where he's being Nakamura. He is kicking and elbowing the shit out of this man. And up to this point, Sammy had been wrestling, and he had been doing high spots off the ropes. But then when he had a chance after this beating to cut Nakamura off and get his and get his revenge, he was fighting just as dirty as Nakamura had been. And he's elbowing and stomping and going at him in the ropes. And he brought out a vicious side of Sami Zayn that we had not seen before and had not seen in this match before, which is what made it so great. It made sense that he'd act this way. So yeah, that's the best match I've seen all year.
A couple of other things on the Sami Zayn topic here. So, Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, I was just watching the ladder match when you walked in here. I was watching the beginning of WrestleMania. People were tweeting during the show, is the crowd really as dead as it appears on television? I can now officially tell you, no. The crowd was not as dead as it came across on television. Because watching that ladder match on television did not do justice to the crowd. Now, do not get me wrong. There were portions of the show where the crowd was absolutely dead, but I can't remember when it was. It might have been... It was very early in the show where Craig turned to me like he was The Rock, and he points to his forearm.
I see.
Hairs standing up on my body. I got goose pimples right now. And I looked at him like, you're a geek. It's like the women's match or something. I can't remember what it was.
That may have been the best match on the show.
I was like, come on. Listen, I love wrestling. I'm having a great time. I love going to WrestleMania. There ain't nothing on this show that's giving anybody goose pimples unless you're The Rock. But let me tell you something. And that ladder match kicked off the show, and Sami Zayn's music hit. If you were not there, I know people hate it when I bring up that I was there, but I'm telling you right now, if you were not there, you don't understand how loudly the fans sang Sami Zayn's entrance.
Yeah.
That was the coolest fucking thing. And all of a sudden, I swear to God, all the hairs on my body, they're standing up right now.
It's the best song ever.
Dude, there were 97,000 people singing this song. And I watch it back on television, and you could barely hear it. And the announcers are talking, and I was just like, you guys all suck.
Oh, they do.
I mean, come on. Turn the fucking crowd up. And
they had to make sure that...
they introduced the German announcers was what they were doing in the middle of his song.
That too, yeah.
Actually, I think that was when Stardust was coming in. But the point is, like, I couldn't even believe it. Television did not do justice. It didn't do justice to the good, and I'm sure it didn't do justice to the bad.
That's actually probably accurate, because let's not go match by match over this nearly 5-hour show. We'll be here forever. But I thought it took me a day and a half to decide whether or not I liked this show, because by and large, the wrestling was good. I don't think anything on the show was great. I thought a lot of it was good. Nothing was terrible. But all the finishes seemed to come out of nowhere and make no sense.
The finishes on this show were just like...
Zack Ryder gets his big win 5 years too late. Chris Jericho gets a big win 15 years too late. Up and down, everything was just weird. The crowd loves the New Day. They lost. It was a boring match too. But it just went on. And on. And on. And on. And on. Nothing is entertaining for 4 hours and 45 minutes. You need a break in there somewhere.
Dude, I learned a valuable lesson this weekend. I'm not going to bother trying to figure out where they're going with finishes, because it doesn't make any sense.
Somebody brought this up.
These finishes were so stupid.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens on Raw?
I know the big story. I don't know everything.
Come on. So AJ Styles is facing Roman Reigns at the next fucking pay-per-view, and Chris Jericho beats him clean in the middle with this finish after kicking out of the Styles Clash.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Fucking Snoop Dogg comes out, and they make a star in one night with Sasha Banks, and then Charlotte just retains.
Everyone in the world loves Sami Zayn. He's coming off the best match they've had all year, 2 days earlier. And Zack Ryder gets his big win 5 years too late instead.
And Zack Ryder gets his win and then loses the next night to The Miz. And now we have a Miz-Zack Ryder feud over the Intercontinental title.
Really?
Yeah!
That's awful.
And then, let's talk about the whole month-long storyline with Shane McMahon.
Okay, go ahead.
What the fuck do you come up with at the end? The storyline is, if Shane wins, he gets control of Raw, and Undertaker will never do another WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So what happens? After all that, I had all of these ideas about what they could do. Oh, man. Vince could feel bad for his son as Undertaker's killing him, and he goes in there, and then Undertaker kills the Vince McMahon character, and Shane McMahon rolls up Undertaker and steals the company from his dead father. It's a million things you'd come up with. And what they go with? Shane jumps off the cage, and Undertaker pins him. And then Undertaker may not ever do another WrestleMania.
No.
And the next night, Shane's fucking running Raw.
Anyway.
Honest to God, it's useless to predict, but I don't know if we're going to see Hunter and Stephanie for a while. They may be off TV for a while. What the fuck?
I don't know. There were two things on Twitter that were said. They said more than I could. I'm going to look them up. One, I know who it was. The other, I might not be able to find it. Somebody pointed out, and it was this the person I don't know, but this will be the 4th year in a row that the person who lost the second match at Mania, main events the next pay-per-view.
Yep.
What? It just goes beyond stupid. And then Jonathan Snowden, noted MMA writer and sometime wrestling fan, he did not like TakeOver. He loved Mania. He absolutely loved Mania. You can take it up with him. I'm not. That's his opinion. You can argue that.
I almost want to censor you the rest of this right now.
But his point was, why are all the losers on Mania fighting for the title on Raw? Do these people ever watch sports? And the answer is no.
Does he ever watch sports? How did he hate NXT and love Mania?
You'd have to take it up with him. I don't know what to tell you.
Forget sports. Do they watch anything? Do they watch television? Do they read books?
I don't know.
Do they watch their own product from 19 years ago?
He did mention...
The finishes on the show were mind-boggling.
One of the he just explained when you only watch one wrestling show a year, which this would be 2, but then you like it a lot more. And I'm sure that's true.
And everyone getting mad at me about Shaq.
Why are they mad at you?
Because I said there was going to be a big name there. And I even said on the show that it was probably not somebody you would consider a big name in 2016, although he is a big name. But it is kind of like...
He was the most famous person on the show.
Sure, but this was their big surprise. Don't yell at me if you didn't think that was a big surprise. This was their big surprise. They thought this was a big fucking surprise.
I thought it was a big surprise. Hey.
But...
I had...
Shaq?
Listen. Okay. Yes, it is 2016. No, he's not an active NBA player. Has not been for a long time. That Battle Royal was... very obviously not the best match on the show. I had more fun watching it than anything else. It was my favorite match on the show.
The best thing on the show is Steve Austin's deal with Shawn Michaels
that's fair.
and Mick Foley.
Yeah.
But there's another one there. The reason I bring up their big surprise is because their big idea for the fucking New Day was for Stone Cold Steve Austin to stun Xavier Woods after they danced with these guys.
Yeah. After they lose a match.
In my mind, this didn't do jack shit for the New Day.
No.
And it was a stupid idea.
Yeah.
But in their mind, this was a big fucking deal for them.
Yes.
Don't yell at me! Same with the Wyatts. Oh, the Wyatts got a great rub. The Vintner
beat up by 2 men.
The Vintner got an 8-second match at WrestleMania with The Rock,
yeah.
And then they got beat up. Yeah. Woohoo! Which led to Raw, where we had the guys that got beat up by one set of legends are now feuding with the guys that got beat up by another set of legends. Neither of which I really care all that much about right now.
Of course not. Yeah.